I bought a lot of games. Maybe too many games? Do you ever just get really excited about buying video games online, and sometimes they're not even games that you've even heard of before, but the trailers look good and you get really excited about buying a new game and they all show up at the same time? Alright, what I've got today is a whole mixture of stuff actually, from Amazon to eBay and limited run games to special reserve games. Stuff that I've ordered in the last week, all the way to over a year ago. Some of it I've been waiting on for a really long time, and other things have been for not that long, but it all decided to show up at exactly the same time. So I thought, you know, normally I would add this to the end of a pickup video in a mail time segment, but I've got enough here just to kind of open it all at the same shot, so let's crack into it. Whole bunch of cool stuff, and honestly, I can't remember what a lot of this is, so we're gonna have to figure it out as we go. Untitled Goose Game. This is one that actually I ordered pretty recently. I think this is an Amazon pickup, and I've been wanting to add this one to the collection for quite a long time. My brother-in-law and my niece were super into Untitled Goose Game back when it came out in digital form, and so when the physical form released, I was absolutely stoked to grab a copy of it. Super cool, chill game, really like chill vibes sort of game. So, you know, nothing actiony, nothing shooting, but you know, you're playing as a mischievous goose who's solving little puzzles and getting into trouble, and very comical, very cool. Great graphic style for the Switch, nothing too intensive, but still a really good looking game, and one that I'm absolutely stoked to add to the collection. Alright, we'll open the envelopes first, and then we'll get into the boxes after. Okay, this one is In Sound Mind on the Xbox. I'll have to look this one up because I don't remember where I got it. Okay, so this is one that I ordered from a website that I actually buy pretty often from, called Video Games Plus. It's a Canadian website that deals in some new and some used games, and In Sound Mind was an absolute impulse buy. But it is a really cool looking survival horror game, which has, you know, some really neat puzzles in it, and the soundtrack is apparently just amazing. It actually includes the digital art book and digital soundtrack by a band called The Living Tombstone. This is the deluxe edition on the Xbox One, and I'm pretty stoked to check it out. It seems like a really cool game, and I like these sort of off the beaten trail kind of games, not your typical survival horror experience, and so another one that I'm stoked to add to the collection, and I'm glad showed up in this order. Right. Another one on the Switch, and this is one that I've been hearing so many good things about, and that is Signalis on the Nintendo Switch. This is a Humble Games video game, and another survival horror in that genre, but something that's completely different from a lot of the other ones that you're going to see out there. This one's got a really unique art style, and just looks like a really phenomenal game. Some of the things that I've heard that are really great about it are the inventory management and the amount of like supplies they'll give you. So, you know, like conserving ammo because you may run out is one of those things that I really love in a survival horror game, and this one is chock full of it. I have heard phenomenal things from many different YouTubers who've talked about how great this game is, and yeah, Signalis, a really unique survival horror game, and one that'll fit well on the Nintendo Switch. I have no idea where to go next. I'm gonna start over here. Okay, that's what I thought this one was. This is Wild Guns by Strictly Limited on the Super Nintendo, and this is actually my first. Wait, is this my first box game? Yes, this is my first box game on the Super Nintendo. I don't own anything boxed. Everything that I have is loose, and it's a reproduction of an older game that has gone astronomically wild in price, and I just don't think there's any way that I was ever going to own a copy of Wild Guns if it wasn't this reprinted version. What a cool way to get a copy of Wild Guns. If you can't get ahead and get the original, why not pick it up this way? And it's pretty cool that Strictly Limited could put out this Natsumi game, Wild Guns. You know, really awesome two-player at the same time, two-player simultaneous, which is awesome. The style is just way too cool. It's got like a futuristic but also Western thing. It's like a sci-fi Western all at the same time. Really good looking game, looks like a ton of fun, and I've been having so much fun playing on the Super Nintendo co-op games lately, and I'd heard about this one, and you know, it's definitely like a cult classic game, and so to get a chance to pick up a complete in-box copy, even though it's a reprint, is a pretty cool way to get a copy of that game for the collection. Alright, I'm gonna get into this guy, I think. I have no idea what this is. This is actually an eBay purchase, and it's Into the Breach on the Nintendo Switch. Another game that perfectly fits on the Nintendo Switch, basically because of its art style, and you'll hear me say that a lot. I definitely try to buy as many games on the Switch as I can, at least in comparison to other platforms, but when it comes to really graphically intensive games, I try to stay away from those copies on the Switch, just because the Switch can't handle that, so I'll usually lean into games that are definitely a little more graphically intensive, like In Sound Mind. That one, I had the option to buy it on the Switch, but stuck to the Xbox copy, just because of what it might take for graphics, and so this Into the Breach game was absolutely an impulse buy for me, but definitely the sort of game that I am after in my collection. It is a very cool strategy game that has won all kinds of awards, and it's actually from the creators of Faster Than Light. I'm a huge fan of turn-based combat strategy games, and if you're gonna sprinkle a little mech action on top, it's absolutely gonna be the sort of game that I'm gonna be into. And man, I've just heard way too many good things about this game in reviews from other YouTubers to pass on it, and yeah, I ran to eBay right away to grab my copy. What a gorgeous looking game. Into the Breach on the Nintendo Switch, really one that I'm stoked to add to the collection for sure. Alright, I got two more here. One is from Limited Run, and the other is, well, it's got a sticker on it, but it is from Special Reserve Games. I know it's inside this one, and this one I think has more than one game. Let's get into the Special Reserve Games. This is one that I ordered, gosh, it has to be close to a year ago now, and I got in on the pre-order of this, and it was like in pre-production for a really long time. I've been excited to try this one out for a long time, and that is Weird West. This is the PS4 copy. I believe they only printed it on PS4. I saw this game being played by a streamer on Twitch called CoCarnage, and it looked really phenomenal back then when it was out digitally, and when I saw that they were releasing a physical copy, I had to get one. So Weird West is a pretty dark take on a Western game. It has a bit of a post-apocalyptic vibe to it, and you know, it's a very immersive game that sort of deals with these 5 different bounty hunters you can play as, and actually my copy, I had the choice, and mine, I took the Pig Butcher on the front copy of mine, but there were options for other cover types as well, and you had a choice when you pre-ordered this one from Devolver Digital. Weird West was definitely one that when I saw, I had to get right away, and like a lot of these, it was absolutely, you know, a little bit researched, but definitely an impulse buy, and I'm stoked that I got in on it when that print first went out. Alright, last but not least, I've got another big buy from Limited Run Games, and I think they were running a sale when I picked up these 3 games. These 4 games, I didn't realize I got 4, but I did. On the PS4, I got a copy of Erica. And then the other 3 are on the Switch. They are Home, Post-Mortem Edition, Alone with You, and then Worse Than Death. So 3 different games on 1 cartridge. I've got Windjammers 2. This one I've had my eye on for a long time, and they dug it up from the basement and sort of re-released it. I had missed the initial order of that. I have the first Windjammers, and I'm a pretty big Frisbee guy. I love my disc golf, and so anything that involves Frisbee games I'm absolutely after, so I had to get a copy of Windjammers 2. And I also picked up West of Dead, Path of the Crow. Let's talk about this guy first. So another twin stick shooter with that really dark vibe. This one's got a bit more of a cell shaded graphic style, at least in comparison to Weird West, I guess. But yeah, you know, a really similar vibe between Weird West and West of Dead, not only in name, but in gameplay too, with that sort of dark Western vibe. And yeah, I guess you could say that that was the type of thing that I was looking for this time around for these pickups. Windjammers 2, another really cool arcadey game. This one is all Frisbee based. You can play single player, but also one-on-one action. Really cool looking game. This one's got all kinds of different players in it and different move sets for those players. You know, if you're into Frisbee and you're into sort of, I guess you could call it a Pong clone, but it goes so far beyond that, that's probably not a fair estimate of this game. But either way, Windjammers 2, really cool game if you're into Frisbees or if you're into Pong style games, and that's a really neat series actually, for sure. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know a lot about this 3-pack. I had just heard really cool things about it. I just, you know, when you're ordering from a company, at least for me here in Canada, like Limited Run, shipping's pretty expensive, so you try to add a couple more games onto it to make it feel worthwhile. And so I'll put some gameplay up of these 3 games, the Home, Post-Mortem Edition, Alone With You, and then the last one being Worse Than Death. Some really cool looking games there, and again, well suited for the Switch based on the graphic and art style for those ones for sure. And then Erica, definitely a unique one. This one is interactive, live action, and it is an absolute thriller. It jams you right into a mystery. It says right on, I'm going to read it right from the back. Piece together the shocking truth behind her father's death. A lot of different endings in this one, and the whole thing plays out in like a full motion video, so it's basically like you're playing through a movie. I don't actually own any games like this in my collection, and so I thought that would make a really neat addition to not only my very small but growing PS4 collection, but also, you know, something a little bit different than what I have in the collection right now. You know, I do keep these sealed until it's time to play them. I have bought every single one of these games to play, not to collect sealed or not to get graded. Not that I have anything against anyone who chooses to do that, but I do like to let it be known in my videos when I do pick up a bunch of new stuff like this that's all sealed. I will absolutely open it when the time comes that I'm going to get into playing these games, because at the end of the day, these are all intended for me to play, whether I'll ever get around to all of it or not. Anyway, thanks so much for sticking around for a, I guess, unboxing pickups video. I'll put a total of how much everything costs. It was a bunch of money this time around. I should probably start putting a little more energy into my wish list and not into new games. But there you go. A bunch of my impulse buys, and thanks for sticking around, and I'll catch you on the next one.